my grandmother, she was born in a gulag. She was there because her parents, who weren't married or didn't know each other at the time, had been sent there, both losing their other spouses in the process.
Oof.
And they met there, and she was born in this camp. And what happened once you were released from the camps was you were not allowed to live within a very long distance of the major cities in the USSR. You essentially became like a third-class citizen. And what happened was most of the former prisoners of these camps ended up settling in areas and small towns nearby, where they lived together with the local small minority of the local native population, various sort of tribes that had been living there for centuries, and the former guards from the very same camps that these prisoners had been in. In 1953, when Joseph Stalin died, my grandmother and her family, they were living in a tiny flat, tiny apartment. Across the landing, there was another apartment, which was a family where the man was one of the guards in one of the camps.
Jesus.
Living across like this. And my grandmother tells the story how that guy's mother, if the kids misbehaved, she would say to them, you know, when your parents get sent back to the camp,
Jesus.
you're going to get kicked out and we're going to get your apartment as well.
Wow.
Now, 1953, Joseph Stalin dies. And my grandmother told me that there was a spate of suicides among these former guards.
Whoa.
Because what they were doing was finally revealed for what it was. These people truly believed. They truly believed that they were beating these people and torturing these people and killing these people for the greater good, because that's what they were told. And so what I say to people in the West always is, do not be a useful idiot. Do not violate your own moral standards and your own moral rules for the sake of the greater good. There is no greater good than your own moral standards. There is no greater good than that. Do you know, in fact you do because you've read the book, but most people have no idea how the USSR got a nuclear bomb. It was given to them by Soviet sympathizers in the West. And that is why Joseph Stalin, a man who killed millions of his own people, ended up having a nuclear weapon and was able, therefore, to threaten and challenge the West. And that's how you end up with the Cold War. Because people in the West, some of them, were so enamored with their own vision of utopia that they would give the most destructive weapon in the history of the world to one of the most evil men in the 20th century, because they believed in this collectivist vision and they were useful idiots. Do not be a useful idiot. Do not violate your own moral code for anyone, for anything. That's what I say to people in the West.
How do you come up with a moral code?
Well, you're going all Jordan Peterson on me, because when he had me on his podcast, we had a 3-hour conversation about God.
I listened to it, yeah.